What is up, everyone? Welcome back to not another episode, but the first episode of the Bulletproof Studios podcast. So, as many of you know, I was running a podcast for, is that over 3 years? Over 3 years. We'll just say over 3 years, it sounds better. And a lot's changed over the last couple of months. And one of the reasons I've not been podcasting is because I wasn't really sure where to put what to do with the Bulletproof Mindset podcast, because this side of the business is starting to expand and grow. And I thought podcasting can be such a powerful way to create content for business owners, and we want to share some of that value. So I have bullied Gillian into coming into this. No, I've not. You're very, very open to this, aren't you?
I'm very willing. I'm a willing persistent.
Yeah, willing, persistent. So, so episode 1, I guess, where to start is probably just to update you guys on what we've been doing over the last couple of months. What do you think people know us as?
I think people know us as a podcast studio, and that's it. There's very rare occasion where people are like, "Oh, can I get you for like content creation? Can I get you for website development?" I think once they start talking to us and we tell them about our services, then they realise. But first and foremost. Anyway, people know us as a podcast studio because that's what we've advertised ourselves as, and that's not people being silly. That's us being silly because we only really talk about one thing.
I think there's a part of this though as well where it was only the podcast studio. Like it was like we can record a podcast episode for people, and that can be anyone. And when I made the decision to like step away from coaching and focus on this side of the business with me and Jill, this is where we started like going into the numbers and start branching out, right? How do we grow this thing as a business? Like when it comes to business, they always talk about your avatar and like niching down and all that sort of stuff. But we were starting to think, right, we've added on all these other skills just by default. I mean, you've got a marketing background, so I guess you were more inclined to do that. I actually remember one of the first times we were like, right, let's quit your job, come into this, and you can do all the copy stuff. Like we just assumed that you'd be a copywriter.
Yeah, I've never been a copywriter.
I know, I don't know
before,
why
so
where that came from.
I'd be a copywriter.
But again, that was one of the things we started doing for some clients, and it's been pretty much trial and error since the start of this year. So in this episode, we want to kind of just from an overarching theme perspective, talk about where the business is at just now and what we're doing next, and then go on to a little bit about the whole content creation piece, because that's something that we found that we start to specialise in. So this is the podcast then. This is you want to make a commitment to how often we'll do this?
Well, yeah, I want to do a mix of this kind of content, like podcast stuff, but then also do some like fun bits in between. So fun for us and our audience if people tune in. But then also shows when people tune in. Also shows like the things that you can do with a podcast. Like it can be like business led, it can be more fun or comical, and it can also show kind of like what different setups we can do in the studios, what editing we can do and different stuff like that. So I think we say every other week.
Let's go for it.
So every other week we post something.
Cool. And that'll be when? Mondays, Fridays?
Oh yeah, actually going down to that now.
Who knows, if we can talk about that afterwards.
They don't need to know that.
Right, so I think it was like some people may tune into this and may have heard your episode that we've done together, or may not have tuned into anything. They just know us from the Bulletproof Studios social media presence, which is usually like a Instagram-y highlight reel. So I think first let's get into like a wee bit of a quick backstory of you and I. For those who don't know, should be pretty obvious, like we are husband and wife. So if you're tuning in for the first time, you're like, okay, that makes sense. Hopefully, if you think there's maybe inappropriateness or
what kind of inappropriateness?
Maybe just how short you might be with me. Like,
short.
You are actually. But where was I going with that? Yeah, so background. So how would you sum up when you introduce yourself to someone now?
It's an interesting one because I think we're changing so much about what we're doing. Like before I'd say like I run a podcast studio, but now I think like when I tell people, like I met somebody last week and they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I run a marketing agency with my husband. I think that's what we do. Like I don't know if that's like but I don't even think like a marketing agency because it's very vague. So you want to say like I run a content creation agency, that still doesn't hit the mark because
Do you
we
not think so? I thought that would be like the wording of it that
yeah,
would
but we
sort
do
of make
more than
sense.
just content creation. Like, this is something we'll get into, but we do more because you've got your content and then you've got what happens after the content. Like, how does that person who's viewing your content then turn into a customer and client? And we help with that from funnels, websites, everything like that. So we're not just a content creation agency.
Mhm.
I don't know what the word is for that.
It was like when I was doing like one of the short videos, it was like your content growth partner or something like that. I like that idea because it's like everything needs to be feeding in with some sort of presence, whether it's online through emails or ads or whatever, and it has to go into something. I quite like that, like growth partner type side of things. But anyway, names are just names at the end of the day. It's like having a title.
I think as well with this podcast, listeners will probably realise like I think we're kind of reinventing who we are. That sounds stupid, who we are, but like what we're doing and stuff like that. And we want to make it very, like, we don't want to have this podcast super polished and think like, oh, this is who we are, this is what we do, we've rehearsed this, we've scripted this.
Yeah, it's just honest because that's why I've grabbed you and said, here, we keep saying we want to do a podcast.
And we've not done it. So we're very unprepared. But I want it to be like that because I want people to see, right, this is us basically starting our business from scratch again. This is how we're doing it. Come see what we do. We'll be super honest about what's worked, what's not worked. Like, if there's been fails, if there's been stupid stuff that's happened. Because, like, in the last even, like, couple of months, it's been, like, stuff has changed completely. We'll talk about the different...
Yeah, because a part of this is, like, so we are helping the avatar of clientele that we currently work with just now is business owners who are growing their business, and as part of that there's a marketing component to that we are trying to figure out for ourselves and also help them figure out. And I don't say that from a point of like we're inexperienced to do it, because we have more experience than I would like to think that the average business when it comes to the content creation and all that, but there is, like you said, the raw talk of, look, we tried to do it this way and it never worked because of X, or even just some of the hiccups we had last week and things like that.
I think
be open and honest.
Yeah, I think this as well, like when we started this company, we didn't really properly start it. We just kind of started it. You were doing your coaching. We built a podcast studio. I glued some stuff on the wall. You actually physically built it. And then obviously it led to me leaving my job and stuff like that. But like, we needed business because we were a new business, so we just said yes to anything. So we said yes to copywriting, to email services, to everything, and we never really became an expert in anything apart from podcast studio because that was like our core offer. But like, we said yes to everything, which isn't a bad thing. So we've realised like we're good at this, we like doing this, we don't really like doing that, we maybe need more support, we need to bring an expert into the company to do that with us. But it's helped us kind of realise that, and now we're like, okay, we're probably now more experience in what we do like and what we don't like, or what we think is going to work, and we might sit down in a year's time and be like, oh, we're actually doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, it's evolved. I always thought like one of the reasons to say yes to things, because it's like, okay, someone can hire the podcast studio out, we charge whatever we charge at the time, like started as little as, I don't know, 80, 90 quid, and then it was 100 quid, and it was 150 quid, but saying yes to like websites, for example, it was like, okay, that's a bigger chunk of cash that we can collect through from a business perspective, and we get to learn that part. And doing these individual channels up until now, I think it's been pretty good because it allows you to see how they're all pretty disconnected in the marketing space. Like, you have the website guys who don't speak to the copy guys who do not even like interested in the guys who are doing the paid ad side of things. Like, there's so many different subcategories in this blanket statement of marketing, which again I think is why it gets a bit of a bad rap. Maybe I might be completely wrong with this, but we've had conversations with many different, I guess, owners or businesses where some of them see the value in content creation, but they're happy to not do it because their business is thriving, or not thriving, their business is collecting revenue without it. So it's like, well, I don't need to do content. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to when you create content for your business. It's like, how do you know it's not working if you're not doing it? Or how do you know it's not going to work because you've made 3 random posts across the month? And again, that's what we can get through in this podcast, or what we'll get through over the next couple of podcast episodes for sure. So That's how you introduce yourself then?
Oh yeah, I didn't even answer
Yeah.
the question, did I? Yeah,
Make
say-
a good politician.
Thanks. Yeah, I'd say like a content marketing agency owner.
What do you like about the whole marketing piece?
I think I like content creation. I like when things fall into place and you see like all the users gonna not be happy with me. I like when things fall into place and you see like everything working. Like when you've got a content's went out, someone's actually like connected with it. They've then followed up. We see like in like a journey in the background and stuff like that. I like when that all goes together. I like doing like a lot of creative research. So like if we're trying to think, we've got a music client, for example, and this afternoon I've been like researching different trends, different hooks, and different things we can use for him to make it a bit more creative rather than him just kind of like sitting there saying, hi, this is what's happening, or this is music, which is good, but it's trying to like be creative with it and do a bit of research, which often does look like I'm just scrolling on TikTok all day, but it's actually valuable
Yeah.
and beneficial.
That's one thing I'd say your strong point is for sure is the creative side to like bringing ideas to like a boring script. I say a boring script, it's not really boring, but like it's fluffing up because you know the components of not trying to get posts to go viral, but just to connect more. I think is probably the
Yeah.
other thing.
I think that's like there's a misconception about viral posts in general. Like people want that virality part of it, which is great because you're obviously seeing different audiences. But like if your post goes viral, are you getting like if you're quite a niche product or service, unless you're something that you can sell millions of or hundreds of to like people worldwide, there's not really much purpose of going viral apart from your own ego, I guess. You'd much rather kind of like a smaller post or smaller views if it means like 50% of those customers or views have actually went into customers. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
I'm glad you brought that up. So this is probably I would say the biggest lesson, not lesson, but the biggest realization we've had in the last 6 months. There's a difference between business owners who come in and use the podcast studio and influencers who come in and use the podcast studio. And I don't know, I just, the preferred client for me was always the business owner over the influencer guys and girls, because they wanted more. There was more expectation on, no, that I want this to go viral. And I think posts going viral can definitely be engineered. I think a lot of people say that. There's a lot of people like copying, putting your own spin on it, your own expertise on it. But the guys and girls we were getting through from a quote unquote influencer point of view, they didn't have anything to pitch or they didn't have anything to necessarily sell. So they were looking to grow this podcast, which would be based off entertainment, which would then attract sponsorship deals. I felt like there was very little you could control in that. Whereas the business side of things, if you get your own product to pitch, which we'll come on to in a sec, but that was I like that more because we could craft what type of episodes you want to do, what type of content do we want to say on those episodes, what's the follow-up, what's maybe the free thing that you want to give away, what's the opt-in gift that you can give to someone listening that will exchange their contact information, because then you can email market to them and all this sort of stuff. So for me, like that was, I'd probably say the big thing last couple of months for sure was, right, and why we're doing this episode and why we're starting to kind of evolve what we're doing as a business is to say, look, we only deal with business owners when it comes to content. And for anyone that comes in, it's like, well, look, we want to have an influencer-based podcast or that. And in a way, it's like turning them down to say, like, there's plenty of other studios that's out there, like our marketing agency, I don't know what to call it there, content growth agency or whatever you want to call it,
Mouthful.
focuses on the business side of things. And I guess influencers do have a business, but it's just different. It's very different.
Yeah, no, I think there's a fine link. You'll find like a lot of influencers that they do podcasts because they might have brands and stuff like that they then sell through their podcasts and stuff like that, which is a bit different. Then you do have some of the podcasts, I don't think you listen to any podcasts that are just
I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
But like some are, because I'm even thinking like when you listen to Mind Pump, that's not just entertainment, that's education. They sell like stuff on it as well. But like there are podcasts
the biggest
out.
podcasts, like in terms of the biggest podcasts on Spotify and things like that, is either crime or the, like you're saying, the entertainment side of things, where it's just
like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, like
not
storytelling.
that's
Like,
not
don't get me
crime.
wrong, Diary of CEO is maybe a wee bit
Yeah.
different, but there's a large chunk of them that the consumer consumes because they like the entertainment side of things.
Part of it.
But that doesn't mean there isn't a market for the smaller podcasts, and that's what I want to get into in this. Anything else you'd say then on that, on you?
On me? What do you mean?
Like, just in case you had anything else in your story that you wanted to.
No, unless
Cover.
you want to go into a story, but I feel that's a different episode.
Nah, we can leave that one for future ones. So, with all that being said, then pivoting to what, like we said, like we make this all about the importance of creating content. Do you think business owners don't know content's important?
Yeah, I think a lot of business owners don't realise the importance, or maybe they think it's a tick box exercise. So it's like, right, I've posted 3 times this week, that's fine. Like, I've done my job of content, or I've done that thing. But are they actually looking at why they're posting? Like, what's the purpose behind their content? Like, are they driving sales from it? Are they getting new customers? Are they providing value? If they're not really, if they're using it as a tick box exercise, then most likely not, because they are just posting for the sake of it. Whereas if you're actually thinking strategically about it, so you're thinking, right, what is my main objective with content? At the end of the day, if people are spending time and money on it, they want to see a return on it. But it's understanding, how will I see that return? Will it be from more customers? Will it be from more followers? Whatever they see with it. But again, it's what are they doing with that content? Like, is it all sales led messages? Because that's not going to work. Like, if you're following a page
And you're just selling,
and you're just constantly selling, like, you're not going to sign up to that. You're not going to engage with it. So it's like, how do you build a community of people?
Yeah, and I think that's when you dumb it down, like, to why do we post anything, and from a business perspective, what is the point in posting anything on social media, or even just, it's not even social anymore. It's like, it's just attention. It's like, how do you get the most attention? And yes, you can reach a new audience, you can reach a new market, but you're just getting people to trust your brand. Like, you're not going to be for everyone, and everyone's not going to be for you, but you'll have a problem that you solve, and you'll have a solution to fix that problem. And all you're doing in that journey is engineering the types of messaging that gets through them. So getting into pain points, how tips and tricks to overcome it, etc. And that's what I like about us starting this from, we're not starting from scratch, but we're evolving this business to the part where it's at just now. This is episode 1. On our social media posts, we're going to start communicating about the things that we're doing and showing you behind the scenes, because we're going to build our business through the lessons and strategies that we help the other businesses grow with as well. And that's basically, hopefully we can show you that, and we'll show you the pains as well of or the growing pains that's going to bring. So content then, what would you say what do you think from a business perspective, or speaking to businesses, how would you convince them that it's important to, or why it's important to post?
Do content? I think it is, like, going back to what we said, like, if you want to try and reach a new audience, if you're doing certain marketing yourself that it's not really doing much, or maybe, like, we've had clients before where the business is fine, it's okay, they're like, I'm doing okay without content, but I maybe want a wee bit extra. Like, okay, you've never tried it, or you've only tried certain ways of content, let us come in and support you with it. Like, how can we do things differently? Like, we won't just post for the sake of it. We won't just come out and record a couple of videos, post them, and that's it. Like, we'll do a lot of research into your niche. We'll understand kind of like, right, what's your purpose? Why do we need this content? Sometimes it's not even just to get sales. It might be to build that community aspect, to gain trust with people, because people do ads separately, which is probably another topic, like Facebook ads.
I think the Hormozy stuff is also really good, but it's like, it's one of the other means. You have the warm outreach, so it's you going out and physically messaging other people. Cold outreach is like posting content, and then there's paid outreach, which is your paid ads side of things. Like,
it's like everything works hand in hand, because if it's quite a big purchase, for example, I'm trying to think of something, but if it's a big purchase and I see an ad for it, and I'm quite intrigued with it, like, I'll most likely still go onto their page and be like, right, what else are they posting? If I go onto their page and they're not doing any content organically, that's a bit of a red flag for me, because I'm thinking, like, right, who are these people? Is this just a scam that they've just put up, like, one ad, they've spent money on an ad and not done anything else type thing?
This is the debate that we were kind of having with one of the other clients, was the whole, like, is content worth it? Because they didn't believe it did
Mhm.
mean that matter. But would you go as far as say it's like the modern day website?
Yeah, I think it's your shop front, it's your storefront. Even if you don't have, if you're not selling a physical product, like we don't sell a physical product yet. Um,
Yeah, we do. What do you mean physical?
like
Oh,
a,
right.
here you go, this is your product.
Ah,
Like a
Here's your podcast.
like a scrunchie,
Ah, right, okay.
like if you know what I mean. Like,
Maybe we
'cause-
should get some Cooper merch.
Yeah,
By the
that's
way,
what
if
I
you're
mean,
tuning in on video, Cooper is parked up next to me. I had to bring another chair in.
he's so
Cooper's
good
a dog as well, by the way.
Everybody knows Cooper.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's your shop front. Like even if we like don't have physical products to sell, but it's still our shop front. Like we want to see if people come on our Instagram, we want people to see, right, we do podcasts, we do websites, we do funnels, we do videography, we come to you, but we don't just sell, we give you tips and tricks which you'll see more of. Like we'll show you, right, what content works, how to make sure your posts are efficient, how to make sure when you're creating content yourself, you're doing your captions right, you're doing your sounds right. Simple stuff to us that might seem simple, but then to someone who's just starting out in content, or not starting out in content, they're a business owner and they can't maybe, they don't really have money to invest in an agency, so they're like, I'm going to do it myself. Like,
I would even go as far as say the businesses who hire their own internal
yeah,
market. Because what was that like working for companies in the past? And it's like, okay, you're the marketing girl, you're going to do everything, and you're like,
yeah,
you
how do I
physically
do
can't
everything?
do everything.
Like
it's,
we've worked with like companies before where like we come and do an event for them, film their event, but they've already got a social media person, which is fine. Like we support them on the day. Like we'll be like, right, here's your content, that's what you do. But they might be new and they're like, how do you do that? I don't know how to do that. Like the aim is that we'll be like, right, go onto Instagram. You've got so many different videos there on how to edit.
here's free
a 30
training
second,
or
yeah,
whatever,
like
yeah.
here's your free training webinar on how to edit your first video, how to add captions. Because some people might be watching this and be like, I know how to add captions. Like that's so simple, but did you know that at the start, how to do it, how to make it just look right, how for them to come up at the same time or the right time, different stuff like that,
Yeah.
how to make them more dynamic. Like there's so much.
Yeah, you can go down the rabbit hole with them. I think my favourite way to look at it, you said it's like the storefront, and albeit you don't have a physical product or a physical shop people are coming into, it's a digital handshake. It's that first impression, and that comes up when you do the ad. That's might be when you do your first piece of content as well. I used to really dislike some people on social media when I was doing the podcast for the Bulletproof Mindset side of things, and I wouldn't invite them on to be a guest because I didn't like the content they posted, so they left a bad impression with me. But as I started getting other guests on, they're like, oh, you should talk to such and such, he's such a very intelligent guy. And I'd be like, you know what, right, I trust their opinion, I'll give them in. And I brought them in and we had a great podcast episode about it. So it's crazy like how many people you can deter, like your personality, your persona, or the image or tone or voice. What branding is like a
Your personal brand, like you
yeah,
need to be
but it's like a wanky word these days,
Yeah, I
branding
know.
into it.
but like you need to be okay with like that person or those people. They might be okay with it. Like that's how I want to come across on social media. That might not be how I am in person, but that's how I want people to perceive me. Which if that is what it is, then that's fine. Like
Yeah.
for us, I feel we're a lot more authentic. Like I don't come across as,
You don't think so? Some people might not like the way you come
I
across.
feel like, yeah, well, they won't like me then.
Eh?
I come across the way I am, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
No,
I,
no, that's what I mean. You need to be on. You need to
yeah,
own
that's
it.
what I mean.
Oh,
Like, if
sorry.
people don't like the way
Yeah.
I come across, then they're probably not going to like me as a person because this is how I am.
An example I want to bring up here because I think it's important to the content piece, and it's one of the biggest eye-opening things we've seen. There was a bit of arrogance when we started this journey. It's like, yeah, you can hire us, you can come in, you can use the studio, we'll edit and upload your podcast for you, we'll do a done for you, which we thought was a done for you, but we let the client steer
Dictate it.
the content because ultimately they are the expert. The business owners that we take on board, you guys are always the experts, but it's our job to try and meet you in the middle to craft the experience that we have to get better reach, better connection, better processes or systems or whatever. So the example I want to use is like over 1,000 posts we posted for one of our clients that we look back at. I think this was about June when we had this conversation, and they got to the point, it's like, look, I don't think this is working for me anymore. I feel like I've done what I needed to do. And the initial conversation why he came on board in the first place was to build awareness and build a brand or a
Personality almost.
personality, like, because this person wasn't on social media and now they're on it and people know who he is, what he does, and the type of person, I guess, that he is through the content he's created. But the one biggest thing that we missed in that opportunity, and this is why it's evolved, was actually tying that into paid customers, because he's someone who had a business and wanted to create these different things, but it just sort of chopped and changed. It ended up not pissing off, but it ended up, there was a disconnect in his audience that he was trying to build, because he built this audience up on one hand and then pivoted it to something completely different. And I think to me that was when that really hit home for me, and we sat down and had the conversation. I was like, we need to go all in on this and do this right, because they are right and they're fine to, like, anyone's fine to walk away, but that was a right, we're leaving so much on the table by not tackling this one piece here.
Yeah, I think so, because it's like there's a balancing act with it, like you said, like they're an expert in their area, but we should become expert. Well, not become. We are the expert in the content marketing world and the podcast world, so we should be not dictating what they post, but it should be a two-way conversation. They shouldn't just come into us. Like if a client comes into us now saying, I want 7 posts going out every week, and I'm going to record an hour podcast and just make your clips from that. I'm just going to decide what I'm going to do, which is to an extent fine if they're confident in content, if they've done the research and stuff like that. But that's why we're here, for people to lean on us.
I think even if someone says that, just it's like, right, cool, that's fine. What's your ideas for your first 5 episodes?
Yeah.
They do it, and it's like, can we give you a bit of advice here, like just from what we've seen, because we want to position ourselves as the experts here.
Yeah, like we do like consultations now with all our new podcast clients that come in, because to understand, right, why are you doing a podcast? What is the main driver to do it? Like, what is your aim? Are you trying to sell something? Is it just for fun? And what is the outcome? And sometimes at the end of those conversations, we said, we don't think you need a podcast, or podcasting isn't the right way to go, which 9 times out of 10 it isn't. But we'd be completely honest to say that now, because we're confident saying, right, maybe it's not podcasting you should do, maybe it should be something else. Or, right, it is podcasting, but this is how you might have came in with an idea of, I'm going to do 10 episodes on how I built my business. Okay, but how are you helping people with that? Like, are you providing value? Are you doing topics in each thing? Are you giving away free content at the end of it?
Or even what's the goal?
Mm-hmm.
If the goal is, I just want to get people to I want to share the journey of where I'm at, get people to follow along. Cool, tick in the box. Like that's a good message. But again, it's always try to challenge the business owners to think, right, why are you doing this in the first place? Because I think podcasting for a while there was like this. It's very new, and if you've got a podcast, you're automatically authoritative in your space. And
then I feel it quickly flips though.
It flipped massively, and then you get a lot of hate.
The typical white man podcast.
It's like typical white man podcast, the typical, oh my God, make podcast equipment expensive. So you've got both sides of this coin. But what I would say, like, I think podcast is for every business owner, regardless. Like, there might be circumstances where it doesn't fit, but for every business owner, the challenge is always the time to create content and then the thought behind it. When podcasting can be a great way to sit down, one record and have a month's worth of content off the back of it, whether you have someone that's in your business that can market it, or whether you sit and record it yourself, or you use us and use a studio. It's you don't get a better return on your investment with time. Sitting down, like us sitting down, we will do maybe about 30 minutes here. We'll have a good 15 to 20 clips off just from what's been spoken about, and that can be drip fed and repurposed in different ways. And it's not just video content, it's like LinkedIn posts and all that sort of stuff.
Like with a podcast, for example, you can use, there's so many AI tools out there now, like we can take this podcast, like you said, take all the clips, but we can also get the transcript from it, and then, right, how do we do an email out of this? We could probably get 2 or 3 different emails.
AI's going to be a big powerful one for sure.
So we can get an email out of this, we can get LinkedIn posts, we can get static Instagram posts with the stills that we'll get from the podcast. Like, there's so much stuff from it. But I think, like, going back to a consultation thing, like, we help with that, but I think it's also a lot of things like formats people don't think of. Like, we've had people in the past who are really good business owners who have came onto the podcast or came into the studio to start their podcast, and they've had good episodes, but they maybe have got every single episode they've got a new business owner on, or a different business owner, which has been good episodes for them, but it's like they're not shown their expertise because they're constantly interviewing other people, which is something they've maybe never thought about, but we think, like, we can bring that to them, say, like, your podcasts are great, but why don't you do one episode every now and then where it's just you talking about, like, how you got into business, what you did, because then you're leveraging your expertise again rather than bringing other people on and always being the interviewer, if that makes sense.
Well, even the art of interviewing and being able to not overshadow, because there's nothing worse. That's like that's such a hard thing when you interview a guest and you speak more than the guest type of thing. But there is an art to that whole conversation.
I think the more podcasts you listen to, like the better you get at it.
It's like anything, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and the more you do, like the
Mhm.
more videos. Like our first video, don't get me wrong, I'm still not very good at doing like scripted videos for social media, but the first one I did was
I was going to say, you
horrendous.
can guarantee you're better. And this is, I love the whole idea of it's just reps, it's just
Mhm.
repetitions, and that's the
But that's
best.
the thing with everything in
Everything,
life.
yeah. Like
Like,
you do 100 more videos just now, will you be better in 100 videos time? Probably.
Mhm.
Like it's almost that is guaranteed a
You'd
return. Well, you would hope, but even like you would be better at something, even if it's just the confidence of doing it.
yeah,
The thing that between now and 100 videos is okay, putting time aside to like think about it, record it, all that sort of stuff.
I think if you do like, so a lot of clients or a lot of people will do one filming day a month and pack as many videos into a month, which is great. Like we do that with a lot of clients, but also if you're only doing something once a month, even though you're banking everything, like it's still hard to get good at that, if that makes sense. Like because you're only experiencing it once a month, whereas we're in a very fortunate position because we own a studio, so we could come in here and do one video a day, and that's like you're building up your reps every single day. If that
And
makes
fully
sense.
transparent,
We don't.
we've had this studio for we're about
I'm a year
what
and
were
a
you
half. in
I was going to say
business.
like 15 months into this whole process.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of back and forth, but 15 months into this, and in terms of videos that we've created, and we've had this idea for 15 months, and
Mhm.
it just got to the point this week. It's like we're doing this today. Come in, sit down,
Yeah, I
record,
don't feel I'm ready.
and it's like so like we're all guilty of it, and hopefully, well, this is the biggest idea. Like my plan for this podcast would be you listen to every single episode that we can put out there, and it gives actual valuable strategic strategies that you can apply. And it's not to position ourselves as like an authoritative figure, albeit that'll come in part as we get better at this and showing our expertise. But it's the whole point of going, right, you can use marketing agencies, you can use us, but you can also do this stuff yourself if you truly want to do it right. I'm a big believer that every business owner needs to understand or have their hand involved in the marketing piece. I don't think
Mhm.
it's something you can fully outsource. I think you need to be in it because nobody cares about the business more than you.
Yeah. And it's that like what you spoke about before, it's the founder magic. Like me
Mhm.
and you can talk about our business, you'd hope, like as much, but if we got someone else in to be like, can you talk about our business? Or even someone who like gives a review or something like that, they don't know it as well as we do, or we're not there. Even if like we've got Fraser obviously who's super passionate about the business as well. But like if we bring someone else in, like
Let's sit him in. Let's get him in the hot seat and go, what
What,
do we
right
do?
this second?
Aye, let's bring what do we do, Fraser?
But like people, like if we bring someone else in, they're not always going to be as passionate as we are, because it's at the end of the day, like this is our, if this doesn't work, it's our business, it's us that close it down type thing, which is something we never want
Yeah.
to be doing unless it's by choice. But I was going somewhere else with that, now I can't remember. I'm gone. Founder magic, something else. Can't remember. Don't know.
Just like caring about it.
Yeah.
Like just having the dedication, not even dedication, but I think a lot of people, when they hear done for you, they step away and it's like, right, cool, that bit's taken care
You
of.
still need to be involved.
Yeah.
Like there's no, and I think if any agencies come to you and say you won't need to do anything, I think that's a red flag, because they will take the reins and do whatever they want to do, which might work to an extent, but you are the expert, you know what you like. Like we've done it with clients where it's done for you, where we actually write their captions, do their content calendar, everything like that, and they'll come back to us and be like, this is fine, but actually our tone of voice is slightly different, like we might need to tweak it, we might do that, and we will go back and tweak and work with them. But if it's someone who doesn't really want to be involved whatsoever, they'll be like, yeah, post it, and then they'll see it and be like, what is that? It's like, well, you need to be involved in the full thing. We need to be having these collaborative conversations right from the start, which is something we want to be doing. Like when we onboard a client, we're not going to say, like, if we agree a proposal on a Monday, we can't say, right, we were going to be posting for you on a Tuesday, because we need to have that conversation, right? How do we work on this together? What's our processes? And then the end of each month, right, what's worked, what's not worked? Let's tweak it. What's coming up for the month ahead? What do we want to focus on? That kind of stuff. It needs to be a collaborative relationship, which sometimes can seem work, but the main bulk of the work is taken away from you, of the recording, the coming up with concepts, the reporting. We do all of that, whereas you just need to be our partner in it.
Sure you've not podcasted before?
Yes.
Feel like you're on fire. Right, to wrap up then, give one piece of content advice to business owners, or one piece of advice to business owners that can help them with their content. So I'll not throw this question on you just now. The first one I would go with is...
I feel you've prepared.
No, I've not. I
Okay.
literally was, when I was, because I was recording, this is why this has happened today. We've not posted any of our videos on the studio page because we've been spending a lot of time building other people's businesses through their marketing approach. And as a part of this within you, it's like, I don't feel authentic to this or integrity to the message that I'm putting out there to say content's great, podcasting's a great way to do it. And I go, I don't have one. I think that was fine before when I was doing the Mindset podcast. But because I've not been doing that, it's like, I feel like a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part of this is the whole new, like, I've even been scared to post some videos. I'm like, what are people going to think of me? Not scared, but the same fear or the same external judgment or imposter syndrome that I had when I became a coach. It's like, oh, I'm going through those same motions again. But again, repetition, because I know I've done it before. It's like, this is just a feeling, I need to just do it. But I recorded something there and I was like, podcast is a great way to, it's an easy or a great way to get your time. What's the word I'm trying to look for? A return on your investment and a return on your time by sitting down recording, and then you've got your content. And then the other thing with podcasting is it can continuously be marketed.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, oh, that only got 60 views, that only get 20 views, or that only get 100 views. Well, guess what? This is my piece of advice for you. If you decide to create a podcast, which I highly recommend every business owner has, or you're just struggling to create content, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what's the top 5 questions that customers ask you?
Mm-hmm.
Every sales call that you have, what's the common theme? So if I think this back to the coaching days, something that comes to mind was, a common question that came up was, I'm not confident to get into the gym. So I would have a podcast that I could send to them, because in that sales pitch, they're still working up trust. They've shown interest in the product that I'm delivering, but they still don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I have a 30-minute episode with free information on how they can overcome that confidence, like, look, you don't need to necessarily sign up to me today. Listen to this because I'm passionate about helping you succeed in this health and fitness goal. That's a great way to get a better reputation, better trust, more trust in there. Even if they don't become a customer, I'm pretty sure that they're going to consume more of my content and maybe buy 3 months down the line or refer a friend or all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And I think that what you've just said is a really good point, because so many people post their content and then think, whether it's podcast or Instagram or whatever, and think that's it done, it flopped or it didn't work or something like that. But we've had it before where we've posted something, or like you said there, but like 3 months later, someone said, oh, I actually seen your Instagram post about how you do podcasts or how you do block bookings or whatever it is. And now I'm really interested, because we posted that 3 months ago, yes, but we've been continuously posting other types of content. So they've seen it's, I think people automatically think, right, you post one post and that's you done. You need to be continuously like in someone's head. I think that there's a weird psychological number that I can't remember how much it is. Like, you need to see something so many times before you actually purchase it.
On Facebook ads, they always say try and get someone to see the ad at least 8 times.
Yeah, because
and if it's more than 8, exclude them.
Yeah, like personally, like if you see an ad straight away, like unless it's a super good ad and it's something I'm really like wanting to buy, I might not buy it straight away. But if I've seen that 4 times, I'm like, it keeps coming up. I actually really need to buy those.
Must be good.
Those jeans or whatever it is, like whatever I'm going to buy.
Advertising interesting. It's also another topic for another day. But there's so much that goes into it, and you can understand why there can be so much myths, or just even it can get blanket statement like, oh, marketing doesn't work, and underneath the marketing pillar there's so many individual parts, and that's what we've been kind of working out. And we're by no means no experts. There's a lot of things that we need to take charge and do with our own business, and we're going to share that with you.
I think it's a little bit like nurturing it, because you've got that one post or that one bit. So how do you nurture the client or the customer through that journey, or just your viewer?
Yeah, that would be my one tip then. So if you're content-wise, if you're struggling with content, just a simple ask, like, what's the 5 common questions? Everybody has a frequently asked questions, and you write answers to that. That's your content for a month, and you can talk about the same things in so many different ways. I'll tell a quick story on this. Was Sam when I met him in Nottingham, this is one of my friends. I was in the coaching space. He's like, I don't understand how a calorie deficit loses fat. So I know I'm kind of going off topic here, but long story short of this, I gave him the answer. And he was like, right, cool. And he'd asked me again, and we kept talking about this subject for many different years. And we were at a hill climb one time, And I explained it like how I always explain it, but just twisting the words a wee bit, just said it differently. I also had more experience, and I said it again, and he was like, I finally understand that now. I think sometimes as a client or as a customer yourself, you just may take a couple of attempts to truly understand that. So frequently asked questions is a great place to start. And just because once you've posted it, that's it gone, repurpose that content or put ad spend behind it or something.
Like repurpose it. So if something has went, like if your topic is calorie deficit, for example, you're saying that, like, don't just do one video on it and a month later, like, do something else or whatever. Like, how do you continue to drill down that message? Same thing with like our music client. Like, right, we've posted a video with that their same song like 2 or 3 times. So like, let's keep you. Like, we need to batter that. Like, there, we should. I read something once. It's like you should be bored of your own content because your audience isn't bored.
Yeah.
Like, you should be battering the same message, like that core message, but in a different way. Like, don't make it boring. So like, if it is that music client, like, still use that sound because there's still people discovering you. Still people like.
How many people like think about the population and then think about the people consuming your information? It's like
using the
so
same song 3
disjointed.
times if it's your own song, like, or even if it's not, if it's a trend in audio, like, we're going off subject here, but if it's a trend in audio and Reels popped off, do it again with the same trend in audio but a different take on it. Like, repurpose what's worked. Don't try and reinvent the wheel every single time.
Definitely.
There's my tip. I didn't
Is
know.
it, I was going to say, would you
My
add
tip
any?
was going to be just do it. Like, just don't, like,
Nike, just do it.
yeah, like, stop getting so much in your head. Like, even though we've said like it's like, don't do it, it's a tick box exercise, it's more important to get the reps in. So try and put your ego aside. Try and think, oh, somebody from that I went to school with is going to see that and laugh at me. Who cares? Like, absolutely, who cares what they think or what other people think? The people who support you are the most important people, and we've learned that, like, a lot of times. Like, we see who support our business like day in, day out, like, and that's the people that
I think you need to earn it.
corner.
You need to earn it, and you need to build your audience with it, and you can't
Yeah. expect
expect it to be friends and family, albeit they'll be the biggest supporters to start with. But I think most business owners hopefully would like to think like you're over that hurdle. And
I don't even know if they are though.
Or do you not think so?
No, because I
No?
think a lot of people, even if you're a business owner and they're not used to doing content,
that's the
They're
biggest
like-
fear. Like, so that can be
Yeah.
actually one of the next episodes we
like,
can
I
do.
don't think they're like, oh, I hate my voice, like, I hate this, how I look, or what are people going to think if I'm doing content and they're going to make fun of me? Like, just let them make fun of you. Going to go Mel Robbins, let them.
I like that. The let them theory.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll make fun of you until it works. That's
It's
it's
like,
so fucking
you
it's
see, like, 'cause
crazy.
I've seen something that's like, you see people share posts and like posts of celebrities and influencers that they've never ever met, and they're supporting their business, but they don't really support their own friends' business. It's like that just makes no
That's
sense.
so that back to what I said earlier on. That was the biggest disconnect I seen with. Do we pursue helping this influencer type brand, or do we pursue helping the business owner? And for me, I like the art of business, and I like the art of like refining that and helping people with that, because it's I've got a lot of empathy and relatability for someone that's going, I want to build my own thing. I want to build my own business because I want to do it myself as opposed to working for other people. So yeah.
What do you think about this? Probably again, it's another episode, we're going in tangents, but like, so is it something like 80% of podcasters only don't get past 10 episodes?
Yeah, I think that was a stat in 2020 or something
I
like
think
that.
it's
So it was
still,
prior.
I've seen something recently.
I think people do more podcast episodes, but I think it's just stretched more. I think very few people make it to episode 100.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think it's not about the sometimes it is about the volume, more reps, better return. But when it comes to podcasting, it's like, right, is there strategy behind how you're repurposing that content or getting that out to the right eyes? I would actually say it's not about how quick you get to episode 20. It's more like how well can you promote episode 1. So I don't want to do... So I done 2 a week, and I done 1 a week, and then that was it. And my idea was, if I can get to 300 episodes, no one can compete against me, because not that they can't compete against me, it's like you can't take that time away from me, because I've put in the work, put in the effort, and I'd like to think that any new person that discovers me as a fitness coach, and I say I've got 300 episodes, they're weekly, and they've been weekly for the last 2 years, then they're more likely to trust me. So this guy really cares about it. So that was one element of that strategy. But another element I would actually, which we're going to do a bit differently, I never gave myself enough time to repurpose that content. So I did an episode Monday, episode Wednesday, put out a couple of clips in between, but it was all rushed.
Yeah.
And the whole idea with the podcast space is to get more people to listen to that podcast episode. So if we gave ourselves 2 weeks in between the episodes, we'd have a better chance of getting more people to listen to that episode. I think when you get bigger and your audience grows and your influence grows, yes, there's an argument to be said about people want to hear more of you, so post more.
Yeah, do more episodes.
So yeah, that's like, I wouldn't rush the process, but whether you get to past your 20 episodes in 2 years and 20 months, it doesn't matter. Like, I think it's about what you do with the episodes, because I'd make the argument that every business can have 5 podcast episodes and that's it. And that content is consistently feeding their business, feeding their leads. I listen to Hormozy does these hot calls or whatever it is, and the business owner phoned in and he's like, oh, we do 36 million a year. And he's like, right, what's your main way of marketing? He's like, oh, we went on a podcast and just talked about our story and we put ad spend behind that one episode, and we've done that for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years that podcast episode's gone, and it still gets some leads into this day.
Again,
it's like, Jesus Christ.
Again, it's like you think, oh, that's boring. People are bored of it now. They're not. There's so many, like you said, there's so many new people that are yet to see it.
Yeah, you're not going to
put an ad spend behind
You're not going to repeat a podcast episode if it's not entertainment.
Yeah.
But it gives you that, it's that step closer to a buying decision. For sure. Right, I enjoyed that. Good fun.
Well done.
Yeah, you have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we calling this, Bulletproof Studios pod?
Yeah, for now.
Will we get Cooper branded as the...
Yeah. Merch will come soon.
Merch will come soon.
What can you expect from us going forward? Episodes, I guess, like what I've said, going into how we're building our content marketing agency.
Behind the scenes of what we're doing, what we've done since our... So what we'll do in our next episode, we'll update you on what we've done before. I think sometimes these episodes, I'd quite like to get to the point where if both of us can't make it, at least one of us do it. And then on the flip side, that is also bringing on our clients maybe, or people in the marketing space that are doing well.
On guests. You can see that we've not planned this conversation because I was going to say that. I'd like to bring on guests like from marketing, from businesses in general. I think get experts in certain areas. Like, let's get Fraser on to talk about, like, because he's an expert in sound and now in editing as well. So let's get Fraser on to talk about that. Let's get people who don't work with us, like if it's people who admire who are experts in certain bits, they might not be like marketers, but they might be doing really well in the fitness space, or I don't know, I'm trying to think of other
there's so much with it. But
and then you'll get some. What we also want to do is like bring you vlogs as well from like working. We have recorded so many different vlogs from things that we've done and just done nothing with them. Like when we've been to weekend long festivals that we've recorded, we've done so many behind the scenes festival vlogs that we've just done nothing with.
It's just been more on top of our content game.
We've just been too busy. It's almost like we need our shelves. We need another 2 of us.
I've always said this. See every business owner. Every business owner, I would go as far as say, suck at delivering the product for themselves. So, for example, joiners, their houses are usually like backed up.
Your dad's a joiner. He's not done his bathroom for 5 years.
When I was at PT, I was training. Everybody's like, I'm finding it hard to train myself, but it's like you need to break through that barrier and just find the time or outsource it. And I think with this one, it's like, well, this is a new part of our business. We need to do it for ourselves first to prove to people that it works as well. So like, I think towards the end, like I would just say just now, like follow us on social media. We're going to start posting a little bit more. If you're on Spotify just now, and you like today's episode and you want to support us, leave a 5-star. If you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing. But more importantly, Spotify and YouTube give you the option to comment below. So there's a reason you listen to this far. And if you're just here to hear the banter between me and Gillian, then cool. But if you're a business owner and you do struggle with the content creation piece, or the like anything from content creation all the way up to the lead element of getting a quality inquiry into your business, that's the part that we are engineering that we specialise in. So leave a comment below what things you guys struggle with and what you want to hear, and we'll do episodes on them.
Or if you just want to hear what it's like for a business to be run by a husband and wife.
Yeah, that's other episodes though as well.
Because you might be a husband and wife duo considering it, and this might make you want to do it, or might make you not want to. I think we should bring Fraser on for an episode, and he can tell everyone what it's actually like. I'm always right. Because Fraser has heard many arguments now from us.
No, they're not arguments. It's just like
it's debates.
It's debates.
We're going to argue if it's a debate or an argument.
Now, social media platforms just now, or we're mainly on Instagram. You can find us at Bulletproof Studios __. We'll maybe branch out to LinkedIn and that sort of stuff as well. But I think for
we
now,
are on LinkedIn, but we don't do much.
yeah, I think there's something to be said in simplicity and focusing on one channel, one growth, and that's what we're going to do just now. There's a bit of different advice from different marketers when you listen to them, and I think there is something to be said. Even though we've got a team of like 3-4 people that can be doing things, we're even struggling to post on the one channel. So let's not overcomplicate that just now.
I think that's a good advice for anyone who's thinking of doing that.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of people just copy and paste their content on all channels, which to an extent can work, but you've got different audiences and different channels. You need to speak them in a different way, but that is another podcast episode.
So many episodes off the back of just sitting
See,
down,
there you
going off the
go.
whim.
Should have started this 15 months ago.
Juices flowing, I know. Like, imagine we started 15 months ago.
Be
But
millionaires by now.
the best time to plant a tree is 40 years ago or today. That's a Joe Rogan
wise
quote. That's a Joe Rogan quote.
Okay.
Or it was on Joe Rogan.
Very wise, Dale.
So we're planting the tree today, and we'll see you guys on the next one in 2 weeks' time then. Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, but we could do a fun one in between.
Okay.
I feel we record every single
I
week.
feel we need to go at the strategy meeting with this one.
I
and then
feel
we'll
we
come back to
record
you.
every single week, but like a podcast episode like this comes out every other week, and then we'll do like a funny.
So if you're not on YouTube, then it's probably
game
worth
type
following us on YouTube.
Because we'll do like a game type thing every other week.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Bye.